Hello and welcome to Girls Got Game. I'm your host, Franki Noble. Today we'll be talking about the Orlando Pride, the Singapore Grand Prix, and the newest season of Dancing with the Stars because why not? So stay tuned because Girls Got Game starts right now. Welcome back. I'm here with Edgar and Patrick to talk about, I would say, one of Orlando's best professional teams.
Absolutely.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. I mean, I'm excited to talk about the Pride. They deserve
You
the
just
recognition.
spoiled it. We didn't even say who we were talking about yet.
Oh my gosh. Well, breaking news, Orlando Pride.
Edgar.
Very excited. And also, you got the Nona FC commentary team.
There you go. I didn't
There
even
you
think
go.
about that. So
We're
we have
back.
soccer professionals
There
here.
you go.
Here to talk, if you couldn't tell yet,
Unpaid,
about
but-
the Orlando Pride. So the Orlando Pride has had quite the season. We were just talking about how this is the first time they've made the playoffs since 2017 because they've had quite a season. They're currently undefeated, first in the league. They have 5 games left. They might go undefeated the entire season. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
And they recently just clinched their first home playoff game. So quite the season. Patrick, do you want to tell us a little bit about what has happened this season?
So, I mean, again, 21 games played, 15 wins, 6 draws, 0 losses. They're currently sitting in first at 51 points very comfortably. The first actual best regular season record goes to the North Carolina Courage in 2018 with 57 points, but they lost 1 game out of 24 games played. So the Pride are on pace to beat that record, and it would be even better if they can finish that regular season
100%.
undefeated and heading into the playoffs with home field advantage all the way until the final.
Especially because this is a team, like we've said, hasn't made the playoffs since 2017. I don't think has been respected in prior years. Nobody thought that they'd have a season like this, make it this far. So if they were able to go that whole season undefeated, I think it would be really special.
Yeah. And I have to make a formal apology, too, because last season on main show, I personally said the Pride weren't ready for this season, but clearly they saw that and they set out to prove me wrong. It's been an incredible season for the Pride, and like Patrick was saying, it would be the first undefeated season in NWSL history. Now, of course, it's a young league relatively compared to the others, but still, to go unbeaten, especially in an expanded field this season, would be crazy, especially since, like we were talking about, the Pride in recent years haven't really lived up to the expectations. Last season, they missed out on just goal difference to reach the playoffs. So look, to bounce back like this, to already have clinched first is pretty impressive.
Yeah, if you had to choose something as your highlight from this season, just off the top of your head, it might be an unexpected question. Anything from this season that you've been like, wow, we really have a special team here. What can you think of?
I would have to give credit to Seb Hines, their head coach, just
Yeah.
because he's done absolute miracles. I mean, he came in last season. They didn't reach the playoffs, just like you said. They did miss out on goal differential for that final playoff spot. But what he's done since the offseason and heading into the season to the current day, it's remarkable. They haven't lost since October of last year. So we're approaching
That's crazy.
We're approaching
That's
that
crazy to think
1-year
about.
mark of no games lost for the Pride. I wish Seb Hines was the coach for the men's side because we need that. And I'm so jealous of how successful they're doing. You know, I've been paying attention to the Pride for quite a few years, but every year they've just been a massive disappointment because they can't seem to figure anything out.
Can't get past that last hurdle.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but you have players. I'm going to talk about real quick Anna Morehouse, their goalkeeper. She's played all games so far this season, 12 goals conceded and 12 shutouts. Those 12 shutouts is also a new NWSL record for any goalkeeper in the league ever. And they still have 5 games to go. Bear this in mind.
Yeah.
We still have 5
crazy.
games to go. And she's just been absolutely wonderful. Obviously, the defense is a big part of it. So, but she herself hasn't had a lot of work to do. So it was hard when we're trying to make the highlights. It was hard to find good saves because she had nothing going on.
No, but even she has nothing going on, but it looks easy for her. Like playing
Yeah.
this game looks easy. And
does.
soccer is not an easy sport, obviously.
Not
You
at
guys
all.
are both huge soccer fans. Edgar would call it football. I'm
Football.
going to call it
Football.
soccer. But you guys are huge soccer fans. It's not an easy game to
No.
play. And I mean, this might sound stupid, but you have that huge goal. The goal is huge. Let's be real. It's a huge goal, and it doesn't seem like it when she's in it.
No,
It seems
it
like
doesn't.
she's 100 feet tall and nothing's going to go past her. So
And following up on what he said, 7 1-0 victories. That's just unheard of, really. They've been so solid. Like you said, Patrick, she hasn't really had any, main impressive saves to make because the back line has been so secure, so solid. But I'll move on to my
Absolutely.
player, Summer Yates, who was picked 39th overall in the 4th round of the 2023 draft. And this season, she's played all but one game, 20 appearances, 14 starts. She has 5 goals, 1 assist on the season. You know, playing in that left mid, left wing area, she can play more centrally if needed, but she has been so, effective, so clinical when she's in front of goal. She's been my star player, along with Morehouse, and I know you have probably the main attraction on this team.
We can call her the main attraction. She is an incredible athlete. I'm obviously talking about Barbara Banda.
Yes.
She has played 17 matches this season. She has 13 goals and 5 assists. She is a spectacular soccer player. She joined the Orlando Pride March 7th, 2024, and since then has been killing it. I was watching highlights. It looks like you don't even know where she's going to be because she'll be in one place and jump to the next. Like, I don't understand how she's so fast. She knows exactly where to be. Like, obviously there are plays made with the coach, but like, it seems like she doesn't even have to think. No. She knows, hey, I just kicked it to this person.
Goal
Let
machine.
me run over there and boom, I'll get a goal.
Right.
Like it's like she's a prophet or something. I don't know. But she's been an Olympian too for Zambia, and she's broke the Olympic women's record for back-to-back hat tricks in Olympic games. So like she is a seasoned player, and she's very young. I think she's 24.
Yeah.
So she's still a young player.
Hasn't even reached her
peak.
Yeah.
I mean, and we were just talking about Alex Morgan a few weeks ago. You know, like some players don't have a peak, and that might be what Barbara Banda has because she's such a spectacular player. Yeah. Like I said, you turn around, she's right where you wouldn't expect her to be actually.
Right, exactly.
Like you'd think she's going to be there to score the goal. She's over there and she's going to get it in. I think she's a spectacular player. But so that's it for players. What do you guys have expectation-wise for playoffs? What do you guys assume they're going to do?
We're going to host all the way up until the final. The final is in a neutral venue. It's going to be at CPKC Stadium in Kansas City, which is also the home of the current Kansas City Current.
Yeah.
So the final is going to be in a neutral venue. And I think that might be a problem if the Pride make it all the way to the final. Because ideally, we would have liked it in our own backyard here in Orlando locally. But until then, all we can do is just show up to each playoff game that they make. Hopefully they go to the final because the city deserves another championship.
100%. I think they're going to go all the way. I think it'll be super fun. It's super fun for Orlando sports because obviously we have UCF here. We have Orlando City who we don't have to discuss. It's fine. We have the Magic. Magic had a fine season last year, but like this is Orlando's team right now because they're the impressive team right now. They're the ones that are getting results. So I would hope that they go far. Edgar, what do you think?
Yeah, so like I said, I have to stick with, I picked the Gotham last season. I'm going to stick with it, but I would love to see a Pride Gotham maybe semifinal matchup to see who goes into the final. I think that would be insane because both of those teams have been on it this season. But yeah, Orlando Pride, as we said, they've set the standard this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go all the way and bring the championship home. Of course, City did win the U.S. Open Cup in 2023. I was there for that. So maybe we could see another championship.
So I guess also one thing for me, this is obviously one of the best seasons in women's soccer ever. I would bet my house, if I had a house, on this Pride team winning against any other women's team in the world.
I agree.
Even Barcelona.
I agree.
Women's Barcelona, they're really good too.
That would be
I would bet on them beating them too.
Maybe.
Hot take, maybe. I don't know.
We'll take it though.
But the thing is, what they really need to do though to solidify this season is to win the championship. That's what it comes down to ultimately, because you're not going to be remembered for going the season unbeaten if you have nothing to show for it.
Right. And do you think if they win that championship, they win the final, whatever, they'll finally like be respected as a NWSL team? Like, they will respect
That's what they're missing.
It won't be shown that this season was a fluke.
There you go. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. We obviously wish Orlando Pride the best going forward, but stay tuned because we're going to talk some F1 next.
Family. My name is Andrew Montana, host of Season 19 of the main show, and on behalf of HTF, we hope you're enjoying today's content, but I'm here to tell you about everything else we have to offer here at the network. Mondays at noon, HTF Bets goes live with 3 of the best on-air faces we have in the program. Andrew Gregg's personality, Tyler Brownrigg's sports expertise, and Nick Cohen's versatility make this show a fan favorite, but also a warm light to guide you through the harsh world that is the sports betting industry. On Tuesdays, Frankie Noble hosts a brand new show called Girls Got Game, blending women in sports, the biggest sports news stories, and creative segments that make for a fun and engaging show. Next up, we've got The Combine, an easygoing, conversational, and podcast-style show dropping on Wednesdays with Ty Patton as your host. No changes there. But a big change for The Combine is the set. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to The Combine from our brand new podcast studio. We've got the lights, we've got the cameras, all for Ty Patton to bring the action, and we hope you're just as excited as we are for this amazing opportunity. Much great content from The Combine this semester, as always. Then tune in Thursdays at noon for our second live show, The Main Show, hosted by, well, yours truly. Here we'll cover any sport, any topic, any story, no matter how obscure, be it basketball, football, hockey, soccer, UFC, MMA, cycling, even baseball. But be sure to tune in throughout the semester for our special shows, including drafts, debates, and much, much more. Lastly, Nighttime is aired on Fridays, where Patrick Previty and Matthew Bracker talk about UCF and college sports. From in-depth looks at campus's top storylines to collegiate records being broken nationwide, let Nighttime be your primary college sports resource. And outside of our 5-show roster, be sure to tune into our other content, such as the Studio Days vlog run by Vlog King Nick Cohen, breaking news graphics on our Instagram page, and much more. As well, make sure you're subscribed to Hitting the Field Network on YouTube, as well as following us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. But as for me, I've been Andrew Montana. Thank you so much for watching, and back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Welcome back. I'm super excited to talk some F1. Edgar has stayed on to talk F1.
I'm still here.
He's still here. And Andrew has joined, one of our certified F1 fans.
What's up, bro?
Let's go.
You've joined us.
Welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Good.
I appreciate it.
I'm
glad you just asked him how he's doing. That was my
Sorry,
next
Frankie.
line.
Sorry. I stole the show.
We're so excited to talk F1. So most recent race was Singapore. It was literally yesterday. One of the most exciting races, I'd say, this season, right?
For sure,
Yeah,
for
100%.
sure.
Super
Definitely at least in the top
exciting.
three.
Not a snooze fest.
No.
Personally, I was pretty happy with the result. Andrew, how did you feel about the winner?
So personally, I wasn't too excited with the result.
Shocking.
Lando Norris is one of my least favorite people of all time. So I wasn't too thrilled that he won by 20 seconds, but I think I'll make it out alive somehow.
Okay.
I mean,
Try.
so we joke that it was not a fun race to watch. It almost reminded me of, what was the one race where Max got on the radio and was like, "Oh, I need to bring my pillow." Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but
Was
I
it this season?
It was
think
this season.
Probably like Bahrain or
Yeah, it
one of the
was
first ones.
it was a boring race. Lando didn't win that one though, so this was a more exciting race than that. And
some
I know
people.
Andrew has some personal vendetta against Lando Norris, but I think we do have to talk about how impressive his gap really was. I think you can even admit.
You have to. Yeah.
I just don't think it was that impressive.
No?
Just because of how good the car is.
It's
like
true. That's true.
it's not him driving it that is the fact that he's 20 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Max Verstappen is an equal or better driver, I think everyone would admit, but the fact that he has such a good car, if anyone else was driving, well, maybe not if anyone else, Lance Stroll could probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's
Yeah,
put
way to
Lance
mess
in
it
there,
up.
Logan
Find a way to mess it
Sargent.
up. But I don't know. If any of maybe the top 3 drivers in F1 were driving that car, it'd be a similar result. So I think that goes to say the same thing about Red Bull though, when they had the dominant car.
Yeah,
It's kind of is just all about the car, and racing strategy does play into it. But
And I mean, I think it is fun now that we are seeing the strategy and the dominance shift a little bit, that now we have 3 competitive cars. We have
100%.
McLaren, Red Bull, and Ferrari. I think it makes for an exciting season.
Absolutely.
Obviously didn't make for the most exciting race. And I know you don't like him, and his car is the reason, but 20 seconds is impressive. It ended, there was a 20-second gap. If you watched videos of it live, that gap was almost pathetic. Not to use.
it looked like Max last year.
It looked like Max last year, and he lapped how many drivers?
Yeah. I think Sainz was the last one not to be lapped. But, like I was going to say, you have to give Norris a little bit of credit. In Singapore, in the past, he's finished 7th in 2019, and then 4th, 2022, 2nd, 2023, and finally won in 2024. So we've seen progression from Lando. And honestly, I wouldn't even say it looked like Max from last season. It looked like Max from the start of this season.
100%.
And it's crazy to see how much McLaren have actually developed. They've really solidified their place at the top of the constructors. Lando's only 51 points behind Max, and we were going to touch on that because Lando could win the rest of the races.
And if Max comes second every race, it doesn't matter if he gets the extra point or
True.
not.
But then I read something. It was I know Ricardo, which we will touch on later,
touch on that.
got the fastest lap in Singapore.
Save Max.
Right, that's true. So if it comes down to a
his
point,
quote, he said, if Max wins by 1 point, I'm going to get a really nice Christmas
Right.
present. And he's not wrong. I know he was
No.
saying that in a joking way, but
Oscar Piastri is also going to get coal if Max wins up by 1 point. Because
I don't think you're wrong. But no, it was a good race. I do agree that this is kind of like Max pre-Australia, I'd say. Because Australia was really his turning point when his car just stopped working.
Yeah,
and then ever since then, he's kind of declined. And I don't ever want to say that I want to see a driver decline, but I have to say watching Max's downfall a little bit has made the sport a little more interesting.
As a Max Verstappen fan, though,
100%.
it's almost more impressive the fact that what he's doing with the car that he has currently, because the fact that the car clearly isn't that good. Checo can't even.
Look at Checo.
Yeah,
Checo
the car is bad.
13th. Where did he finish 10th?
He finished 10th. He couldn't
bad.
pass Colapinto for
Colapinto was holding him back.
Someone who was
crazy.
raced in one race before this.
Yeah.
And he's also racing in Williams.
Yeah.
So the car is the car is not
For
great.
real.
The car is not great, but the fact that Max Verstappen still is able to finish podium after podium, not race one after race one anymore, but he is just a spectacular driver, if I do say so myself.
We're talking about drivers specifically, so we're going to go a little bit more into the drivers because this, as I said, has been one of the most exciting seasons, if not the most exciting season in F1, at least in recent years. We're not going to go back 100 years, whatever. In recent years that we've all been able to watch on television, it's been very exciting.
For a long time, we had a competitive constructors championship, which I feel like it's pretty solidified that McLaren's going to take it at this point.
Pretty much. I think so.
We also have a competitive drivers championship, which makes everything more exciting.
10 times more exciting.
Every race is important now, and even though you're getting 20-second wins, it's still calculating the points. It's if Max doesn't get second place every race, then everything switches up.
Everything switches up.
It's not like Oscar's a bad driver, and he also has a similar model of the same car. So who knows?
There is one driver though that isn't super competitive anymore,
Who's
and
that?
we do have to talk about it. Who, even in an hour, we can hear he's not a driver anymore. Let's talk about Danny Rick.
No.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Rest in peace.
Literally one of the saddest things I've ever seen with the race yesterday. It was the only reason that the race was interesting.
The fall from Monaco was crazy.
It was heartbreaking.
It really
so
was.
Daniel Ricciardo, for context, it's going to be announced within this week, probably even today. He's going to be replaced by Liam Lawson. That's basically guaranteed at this point, right? You'd agree?
I think so, yeah.
It's really
guaranteed.
upsetting. It's
It
a
is.
driver that has been in the sport a while. He's gone from team to team, Renault, McLaren, Red Bull, now whatever.
I'm not even a particularly Daniel Ricciardo fan, but the fact that he is such a big personality in the sport, the beginning of last season when he wasn't in the sport, it just felt so much worse. Obviously, given the fact
He
that
leaves a gap.
given the fact that Max was also winning every race by 20 seconds, it was also pretty boring. But that being said, Daniel Ricciardo's personality not being there, him looking all sad as the third driver for Red Bull,
hard to watch.
Yeah.
It really was. And I saw something. He was smiling even though he was sad.
That picture,
which it just encapsulates what he's about.
As soon as he walked out of the paddock, he still had a smile on his face.
Still had a smile on his
And
face.
even the interview, we were talking about it before this, he was in tears in the interview, which wasn't even supposed to be posted. I don't know if you guys saw that. It literally said "do not post," and it was posted.
Crazy.
It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. I don't think I've ever
It was
cried.
tough.
I don't think I've ever cried over Formula One with race cars. But I was watching this and I was teary-eyed. He's a personality. I think he's someone that makes Max seem human. When they have conversations, he's the only person that makes Max seem
Max is a good guy.
He's a good guy, but he gives him personality, and he gives the sport personality.
100%.
Even if you don't know Formula One, you know a few names like Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Daniel Ricciardo has always
Definitely up there.
been one of those people.
Almost bigger than some of those names, even though he doesn't have the reputation.
He was
some
at
of
the
others.
Met Gala.
Yeah.
He is a very big name, and he's done a lot for the sport, so it is going to be really tough to see him go.
It is just so sad from the fact that he was at Red Bull racing as one of the best drivers in F1, and then
his
he
career kind of went that way.
Yeah, from Renault to McLaren to the Racing Bulls. So
Racing Bulls.
Yeah, I don't know.
Visa, what's it called?
Visa RB Cash App
V-Carb, whatever. Weird name. So we're obviously going to miss him a lot, but there have been some good drivers this year. This has been just a few. I'd say 5.
Yeah.
But this is a season that we've had 5 drivers win multiple races.
Yeah.
Throw George Russell in there, 6.
Oh yeah, I guess.
There's a solid 7 with essentially everybody in the top 4 except for Checo.
That have won
I agree.
a race.
I agree.
Carlos has won 1.
Carlos has been on the top step, and then even
This
drivers
Okay, but so we've had a good share of drivers.
Yeah.
So who have we chosen to highlight? I know Andrew would love to glaze Max Verstappen a little bit more. Who do you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. So my person is actually Max Verstappen.
Wow.
way.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
know, shocker. But he is like the best driver in F1. I think it's like almost undisputed. The fact that like it is so clear how good Lando Norris's car is like is indicative of the fact that Max is still, he's not keeping it close at this point, but he is at least trying to put up a fight. The gap was, do you see the radio message where they were like, just put 5
I
seconds on?
was going to talk about that. That was lap 9.
Yeah, I know.
They told Lando to put 5 seconds by the mid-teens, like lap 16. It was 5 seconds by lap 11.
Yeah.
He just put the pedal to the metal at that point.
And
Quite
he-
literally,
he
put
said
the pedal to the metal.
Lando also said he drove conservatively by the end of that race.
Yeah.
So it was kind of crazy to see, but obviously Max Verstappen is one of the best. You can't like go through the history of F1 anymore without Max Verstappen.
No.
He is one of
He
the
is
best
like
drivers.
the F1 driver.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Sebastian
Recent times,
Vettel,
absolutely.
like you have
You
legends.
have to throw his name in there.
But you have Max Verstappen, and it like I don't know if it's like a recency type thing that like he's a current driver, but he is an absolute legend.
Yeah.
Or just his performances in 2022, 2023, so dominant. And actually in the cooldown room after the Singapore Grand Prix, he told Lando he thought he was going to lap him. Just kind of course,
Poking
sarcastically,
fun, yeah.
right? But it
Right.
just tells you how dominant Lando was.
And I'm sure you guys want to talk about Lando Norris now.
Well,
Great
yeah,
news.
Edgar, who do you want to talk about?
Lando Norris, of course, because he has been the guy to take Max all the way this season. Piastri, of course, has that McLaren, that dominant car. Ferrari showed signs at certain parts of the season they've kind of tailed off. Will probably finish third in front of Mercedes, but Lando has been the guy to, push Max and will continue to push Max all the way up until Abu Dhabi. I hope the points are either level or maybe 1 or 2 points in it like we saw in 2021
With
when Lewis and
Lewis
Max.
and
Oh
Max,
god.
yeah.
That race,
Hopefully it's not a repeat of that.
hopefully not. Hopefully not as controversial, but that excitement, I would love to see it again.
For my sake, I hope it's not even close, but I don't know.
But
We'll see.
we have to say it's going to be.
Yeah.
The person that I chose is a driver that I think has a very, very, very bright future in the sport, Oscar Piastri, the other McLaren driver that we have. He joined McLaren in 2023. He's 23, and he has 9 podiums and 2 wins already. There's 2 wins this season. He has become like one of the drivers in F1, and I don't want to say nobody expected it because he joined F1 and people expected him to do well, but his recent successes have been so fun to watch.
Yes.
And I mean, he has his little rivalry with Carlos, which is fun to watch too. They don't
Right.
like each other too much.
Charles Leclerc's son.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yes,
he's
yes, that's
and like
very
he's
true.
become a little bit of a menace. He's no longer the youngest driver on the grid anymore. We have Franco Colapinto.
He
who-
deserves a shout out.
he deserves a shout out because
deserves a
he is such a fun driver to watch.
Should Antonelli
have a
coming
seat.
next year?
Should have
Should have a
seat.
seat,
Should have a
100%.
Should have a
So-
seat.
Lance Stroll.
Lance Stroll, get him out of
Hey,
there.
him
Put
out.
in the
Hey,
Aston Martin.
start the conversation.
Yes.
Get it? We're gonna get Lance Stroll out of there. We're gonna keep Kimi in there
Colapinto,
next year, who will be the youngest driver, which
Yeah.
by a long shot, the new Max.
If we can get Antonelli, Colapinto, and Lawson on the grid next year,
There you go. And you still have Oscar Piastri, who I chose, who is a great driver, who's still really young. He's
Yep.
like 2 years older than us. So, Andrew, I know you have something you want to say, maybe?
Well, I would just like to say shout out to Max Verstappen if you're watching this.
Oh my gosh.
And that's
we'll get it to him. Don't
Yeah.
worry. We'll DM him.
We're-
tell his team to watch.
We're going to silence Andrew Gregg because we cannot hear all this Max Verstappen glazing. It's actually horrible. So stay tuned because we're going to talk Dancing with the Stars next. Why are you here?
I don't really understand why I'm here. I got called a delusional fan. I just don't understand why I'm delusional if I think Kirk Cousins had the best mustache in the league.
Well, Jack, buddy, I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but I don't think anybody looks cool in handlebars.
But they're back, man. They're back.
They're not. They're not. Sometimes you just got to face the hard truth. It's right there in front of you. All these people, they're calling you delusional, but sometimes you got to worry about, am I projecting? Is it me? And in this
Let me tell you
case-
something, bud. It could never be me. Anything I say is factual and truth, and that's why the Vikings are going 16-1 this year.
organization, you have to look at your roster and say, I've had Kirk O'Duggins for 6 years. Maybe it's time to move on.
There is no moving on from Kirk Thuggins and Justin Jefferson.
Do you think that maybe this all started just because of a little disappointment?
Nothing has started. This is how I live, and I am not delusional.
And welcome back. We're here with a lot of guests. We have some new faces to the show, some that I would already call vets. It's episode 2. We'll call them vets. And we're here to talk Dancing with the Stars, which I'm really excited about. So we have Mikayla here. And then going this way, we have Anya, Delyla, and Kathleen. Delyla, on-air debut.
Yes.
First ever
Yay.
on-air debut.
So
well, obviously.
excited.
You're excited?
Yeah.
And then Kathleen, you haven't been on Girls Got Game yet. How are you feeling?
Feeling great, very excited to be here, collecting the gauntlet.
There you go. Anya, you're an absolute veteran already.
Yes.
I think this is your 4th time in a row.
I think so. I know I've been on a lot.
But we love Anya on Girls Got Game. How are you feeling about being on here again?
You know what? I love being on here. I love this show. I'm excited.
I love it. And then Mikayla, who's the biggest Dancing with the Stars fan.
I am.
know. Let's show off the shirt.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Should I stand?
So, obviously, we're talking Dancing with the Stars. Everyone's super excited. I'm super excited. What are your all thoughts about the first episode so far, we'll say?
I feel like it was like a breakthrough episode. I mean, the first episode is always so much fun, and it just like it gets the crowd pumped up, it gets the crowd hyped, and there are so many amazing contestants, and so I'm just excited to see.
Yeah, speaking of the contestants, since we should bring this about sports, we have quite a few athletes this season. We have Dwight Howard, we have Olympians. There are quite a few athletes. Anya, do you want to talk about the athletes?
Yes, so we have Olympians. We have Steven Odorazic and Alona Maher. We also have Dwight Howard, who I believe he's the NBA player.
Yep.
And we have an NFL player, but I forgot his name.
Danny Amendola.
Yes, Danny.
Patriots alumni.
Yes. And it is just, I feel like we have never seen this many athletes. Obviously, we've had Olympians before. We've had Simone Biles with her iconic quote of "Smiles don't get you medals."
Awesome,
Nice.
awesome quote.
Yep.
But I don't think we've ever had this many professional athletes in one season. And
It makes it so much fun to watch because these athletes obviously are athletic.
yeah.
So it makes it fun to watch them dance. Even Dwight Howard. Do we know what height he's listed at? He's like almost 7 feet.
I was gonna say he's
Something
6'11".
Yeah.
I
he's
do
a-
find it funny
He's a
that
tall guy.
Yeah.
in his promo photos, Daniela is standing on a box.
That
So
is
that
so
was
my
really
gosh.
funny.
You know what's crazy is that I saw Alan was on a podcast and he was like, "Oh yeah, they do it by height," and then I was like, "How is that possible?" Because
She's
no
so-
way they gave Dwight
she's so
to
small.
Daniela.
Well, because
Yeah.
what are you supposed to do with Dwight Howard? There's
Yeah.
not really anyone that you can match
No.
with him.
But
That's
they-
gonna be in
but
work
they-
for
They
him.
gave them
To
the
go back-
short, the
I know,
shortest.
the shortest. And to go back to the first episode, their dance where she did the steps in air.
Oh my god.
Oh
That's
my
so
god.
funny.
Or when he just picked her up and held her there, and she panned to the camera.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and she's obviously won with a very tall person before, Amon,
Mm-hmm.
who won 2 seasons ago.
I think it was 2 or 3.
Who won 2 or 3 seasons ago, so she's used to having a taller contestant with her. So I think it'll be an interesting pair to watch.
Yeah.
If you guys had to choose your pair to watch that you think is going to win, who would you guys say? Starting with Anya, we'll go down.
I really want to see how Alona does because I can see she has the excitement behind her dancing, but she's still a little stiff, a little nervous, but not in the same way that someone like Anna Delvey was, where she didn't care to be on the dance floor. She wants to be there. She's just it's not the field she's used to. But I'm excited to see her grow and become a more flowy, fluent dancer.
Absolutely, Delyla.
Obviously, it's really early to tell, but just based off of the first episode, I would definitely say Chandler caught my eye. I mean, the second she came out, it was amazing, and also the fact that the judges' critiques were amazing, almost perfect for her. And she does have a little bit of a dance background, so she has a foot in the door, but I don't know. I think she's gonna kill it. I think she's gonna do amazing.
We've seen people with dancing backgrounds, JoJo Siwa was on a few years ago, and she made it all the way to the finals,
Yeah.
pretty much. And I mean, these people with dancing backgrounds, people sometimes say it's unfair that they have an unfair
And
advantage.
when Charlie was on, that was a really big controversy.
with Mark, but
yeah.
she killed it, and it
She
makes
was
it
so good.
It makes it entertaining
Yeah.
to watch when you have
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
seasoned dancers.
I do think it's a little unfair to
It-
the
a
other
little bit.
dancers on there, but it's
Yeah.
it's not Charlie's fault. Or the dancers that get picked, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
No, and especially with Chandler, he just doesn't have a professional dancing background.
Exactly, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how she does. Kathleen, who's your way too early choice?
I loved watching Steven and Riley. Oh, they were so fun to watch.
Damn,
they were
that was
so
my
cute.
one.
I know, Chandler was mine too.
But I think that Steven has incredible energy, and I think that they're really going to be able to play into his like gymnastics background, and they're gonna be doing a lot of cool tricks, I think. And then Riley's energy is also just like so bubbly. Like they literally match each other so well.
I'm so happy for her
I
because
know.
with Harry last
She
year,
needed
she
a
wasn't
good
able to
partner.
show off
I saw something
anything.
that was like, it was like they hazed them with
Yeah.
like, bad partners and then give them
Literally.
good ones the next season.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Steven and Riley, they're so fun to watch.
I absolutely agree. I was going to say Chandler as well, so I'm going to agree with Delyla.
Twins.
She was such a fun person to watch.
Oh
it
my
looked
God.
like it was like week 6
Exactly.
with their dance. And even they got high scores.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it'll be really interesting to see her grow throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
I would already say right now, I think she's going to make it to the finals, if not like semifinals.
Yeah.
I know you already got your person
Yeah.
taken, but who do you think is going to win?
I'm gonna go with Steven. I think it's definitely gonna be a really close competition because I could already see a top 4 from week 1. But I think when it comes down to it, Chandler is really good, but I don't think she has the votes. Like not a lot of people know who she is, and people were hyping up Steven, and I think that's why he's gonna come out on top.
Yeah, I think he's just a fan favorite. I mean, like,
Yeah.
all throughout the Olympics and, like, through social media and everything, he caught everyone's eye, his bubbly personality. So I think he definitely has the audience for sure.
Sitting like this.
I know, he's just sitting like that. And did you guys see,
That's it.
he
That's
said
all
that
he needs to do.
he took off, and when he took off his glasses, he was like, he didn't even have contacts in for the first dance. He was like, I just looked for the red light for the camera, and that's where I danced. He couldn't see the first, and he did really well.
Yeah.
You know who
Everyone's
surprised me
wearing
though?
his
I
glasses,
know.
so He's used to it.
He's used to it. Who surprised you?
Joey. When he came on there,
too.
because I was scared for him because I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be like,
looked stiff.
stiff. But then he was actually really good, and I was like, wow, like I'm surprised.
I love to see like the people like Joey that like you don't
Yeah.
think would actually do this like type of show, and he's just having like you can tell he's having a great time.
Yeah.
And he's not taking himself seriously, and that's what you have to
Exactly.
do.
And it's the fact that, like, he's so dedicated. Like, I feel like a lot of people going in, like, they're a little apprehensive, but he's like, no, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So,
And to talk about someone that's not super excited to be there, because we have to talk about it, Anna Delvey. I think we can all agree it is kind of crazy that she's there
Yeah.
with her bedazzled ankle monitor.
That is crazy.
I'm really interested to see how long she stays. I think it'll be a toss-up of whether people vote for her because they want to see.
I think
how
it's
much
kind of
her message will be,
iconic.
or people aren't going to like her.
Yeah.
It got really quiet.
definitely
in
a
there.
first,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think that she's very like right now she's again very apprehensive. Like she's just kind of like she doesn't really care at the moment.
She
But-
said she was glad she didn't have to dance that day.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I just feel
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
for her partner.
I
Like,
do too.
because he's
Especially
such
'cause he's new.
He's such an amazing choreographer too. Like I could already tell by like what he had planned
Yeah.
out for them that like he could like have a great season with a different partner. But you know, maybe it'll grow on her. Maybe this will be
Yeah.
an
Her
opportunity for
redemption
growth for
arc.
her.
Well,
Yeah.
Definitely.
And unfortunately, we could talk about this for hours. It's such a fun
We really
topic.
could.
But that is all the time we have for this episode. Thank you to everybody who joined. We've had a lot of guests, and it's been a blast. But stay tuned next week, and we'll have another episode of Girls Got Game.